Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't already do, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you can get more book contents. Today I will be doing 6 books that I wish I could read for the first time again. So let's get started. The first book that I wish I could read for the first time again is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I don't know if I can tell you enough good things about this book. I have read it 3 times at this point, and I recently just finished the audiobook, and it's just such an amazing story. So in this book we follow this life story of Evelyn Hugo, and she was a very famous actress in the 1960s, I want to say, and for years she just completely disappeared, like out of the public eye. And so she requests that a journalist interviews her, and she's ready to tell everything. She's ready to talk about all her 7 husbands. She's ready to talk about her life that has always been a secret and has always been so scandalous. And you are not ready for everything that Evelyn has to say. It's a beautiful story about losing your identity, finding yourself, the cost that you pay to be so famous and successful, especially back in the day, how much you have to give up of your own life, of your own truth to do that. Every single time that I read this book, it is 5 stars. And the reason that I have to keep rereading it is because I'm terrified of forgetting this book, because it's one of those books that really impacted me, and I'll never stop recommending it to everyone. The second book on this list is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. In this book we follow Addie LaRue, and it's 1714 in France, the first timeline. And she has to get married to this one person, but she really doesn't want to. And so she makes a deal with the devil, and she ends up living forever. But the one trick is that no one remembers her. She can walk into a room, meet someone, the moment that she just steps out of the room, no one remembers her. So we follow a future timeline where we have one person, this one guy that remembers her, and she's like, what the hell, like what's happening here? So I am completely in love with this book. It is overdue for a reread, but I think everyone should read this book at least one time in their life. And it's also a sad story. You end up falling in love with Addie LaRue and feeling for her, living out their centuries without no one to remember her for, without really making an impact on Earth. And that's all she really truly wants to do. And all she wants is for someone to remember her and to have a relationship that doesn't last minutes or however long she's in the room for. The next book on this list is Daisy Jones and the Six. This is another book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it's a very unique book because it feels so real and is written in an interview style, which makes it such an easy read. So in this book we follow the band The Six, and we also follow Daisy Jones, and at some point they become Daisy Jones and the Six, which becomes very messy because we have Daisy, and she is a very unstable character. She is your typical rock band from the 70s star. There's always drama following. She's also always on drugs, but on the inside she has a lot of trouble. She has a lot of things that she's trying to deal with. And then we also have all the people from the Six and their relationship, especially Billy's relationship with Daisy, and how much they clash when the band first gets together, how much they're trying to work together when they really don't seem to like each other. And so the book, I wouldn't say the book has a plot. It's mostly just a life memoir from the band, and is an interviewing style, so I really recommend the audiobook for this. It is amazing. It's a full cast and it has different voices for all the characters. The way that this book is written really makes you think that this is a real band, and when you finish the book, you're like, you see the song lyrics in the back and you're like, okay, now I want to listen to this. It feels completely real that when you finish, you have a massive hangover. Like, you're like, okay, what do I do now? You know? And that's why I'm completely in love that this book is being made into a TV show by Amazon. Seeing all these people like as real people on a TV show, and knowing that these are actually going to be songs is just amazing, and I can't wait for it. So if you haven't done so, which is probably very unlikely, go listen to Daisy Jones and the Six. The next book on this list is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and this is the book that destroyed me. Okay, so in this book we follow Lily, and she just moved to this new town, and on her very first night there, I'm not sure if she just moved to this town or if she was visiting, but I know that she was in a rooftop and she meets Ryo. First of all, what is his name? But if his name is Ryo, stay away from him. But she meets him and she's like completely, I wouldn't say in love, but she's definitely interested by him. And she just thinks she's never gonna see him again. But of course she does see him again, and he ends up being the brother of one of her very good friends. So they start dating, and and at first it seems like the perfect relationship. He is just the perfect guy until he isn't. This book does have a dual timeline. It follows back to Lily's childhood when she met this guy in her school called Atlas, and she also had a relationship with him, but it was a lot more than just a relationship. And one day she is with Ryo in a restaurant, and she goes to the restaurant and their server is Atlas. So now Atlas is back into her life, and it's just a clusterfuck after this. Oh, it's being a clusterfuck before Atlas. So this book just really caught me by surprise because I'd never looked at the content warning, so I had no idea that this book was going to contain any domestic violence part, and that just really hit me. That's not a very good word for it. I wish I could read it again for the first time without knowing about the content warnings again, because sometimes I just crave crying and I crave feeling sad. I know that's probably not a good thing, but somehow it comforts me. So yeah, this is also the book that kind of got me into reading romance. I was never a big romance reader before this book, and then this book kind of got the ball rolling for me. The next book on this list is kind of like a rom-com, and another one of the romance books that made me fall completely in love with romance for the first time, and it's People We Meet on Vacation. Oh my god, this book, it is so cute, and this book made me fall in love with Friends to Lovers because the chemistry between Poppy and Alex, it's amazing. Okay, so in this book we follow Poppy and Alex, and they've been best friends for years, and every year they take a vacation somewhere, and they've always just been friends. Nothing ever happened between them, but in one of the vacations something happens, and 2 years passes and they haven't talked to each other. And now they both really miss each other, and the book goes back and forth between all of their past vacations, including when they first met each other in college, up until, and then it goes back to right now. So at some point the timelines meet and becomes one timeline. I thought it was just a very interesting book. The characters have a lot of depth, which is something that you really don't find in a lot of romances. The reason why I never really like reading romance books is because the characters tend to always be very surface level. I heard the audiobook is a very good way to consume this book. Haven't heard it yet, but I did read the book and I thought it was amazing, and I wish I could read it for the first time again. The next book on this list is The Song of Achilles, and this is a retelling of Achilles, and it focuses a lot on Achilles and Patroclus. I'm probably messing up his name because I really don't know how to say his name, but it follows the relationship of Achilles and Patroclus, and is a very queer friendly book. There is a lot of people that always thought that there was romance between the two of them, but this book, it is going to crush you. This book is going to crush you. There's just no other word for it. I think it's beautiful written, it's very lyrical, so if you don't like this kind of book, not much I can tell you. Yeah, I don't think there is a lot of plot going on. It just mostly follows Patroclus and Achilles growing up, and how they end up developing their relationship, and how it all crumbles down. And I like to say the rise and fall of Achilles, just the character story and how being in war changed Achilles. I think is a very, very good retelling, and I think this was the first book that I read that is a retelling, and after The Song of Achilles, I've just been craving some more Greek mythology retellings. I think this is a great book. Of course, it's 5 stars, and it made me cry a lot, but I love this book, and that's it. Well, those are all the books that I wish I could read for the first time again. If you like this video, please make sure to press the like button and subscribe so you can get more content like this. And please let me know what is a book that you wish you could read for the first time again. Thank you.